Welcome back to Okaloosa Today on Cox. I'm Doug Rayner with the City of Destin, joined today by our very special Mayor Sam Seevers. How are you today, Mayor?
I'm wonderful, and thank you so much for having me with you today.
Well, it's exciting to have you here, and it's not, because this will be your last time on our show as our mayor. But the reason why you're here today is to talk about the great things that happened in 2013. This is kind of our year in review. We do this every year on Okaloosa Today, and our year in review for 2013 to talk about the accomplishments. And the main reason is because every year the mayor has to give a State of the City address, which is coming up for you. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we've got some amazing projects that we're going to do, and I look forward to being able to tell the public all the wonderful accomplishments, not only done by the Destin City Council, but also our amazing staff.
That's right. You do that at the State of the City address. I think by charter, it's by the end of February we have to have a State of the City, and the mayor has to look back, a cumulative look back on the year before. So this year it'll be on February the 25th at 5:30 at the City Hall Annex in Destin. I think we've done it like that almost every year you've been the mayor.
Right, and I'm looking forward to hopefully having a lot of people show up to it this year.
We do. We hope everybody who's watching this gets some good information and also comes back and comes to the event. We'll show some graphics for that event, and we'll talk about it again at the end of the show. For those who can't be at the State of the City or want a little bit more information, what we'd like to do today is go into some of the accomplishments from 2013. I know a lot of these are near and dear to your heart and represent you and the City Council and Destin very well. So let's talk about some of the projects, and we'll just move through them, okay?
Okay.
The first one that was on our list is the West Destin Beach Restoration Project. Big project, a lot of money, a huge impact. Let's start with that one.
Well, we dredged approximately 600,000 cubic yards, and we put it on about 6,200 linear square feet along Holiday Owl property and a little bit to the east of that. That went a long way, not only in protecting the upland structures, but providing more beach. I mean, that is what Destin is known for, and we really needed to restore that. We had some buildings that were actually fallen into the Gulf of Mexico. One of them was Jetty East, and it was a big concern. We have some long-term residents there, so we accomplished that one. That was a great thing to be able to stand on that beach and cut that ribbon.
It was. That was a great event, and also just a huge impact for the project and all the things you mentioned. And you know, we're known for our fishing and our beaches, and we have to have those beaches replenished every now and then because of what Mother Nature's going to do to her.
Right.
Let's go into another project, and this is, I know you love this thing. It's the Week of Blessings, and this was the 10th year the City of Destin has been involved in that project.
Right. This was actually the brainchild of our incoming mayor, Mel Ponder, and Captain Mike Parker. And what they wanted to do is do an event that coincided with the blessing of the fleet. We had actually 153 boats that participated this year, but they wanted to expand it not only to the fishing industry, but to some of the local businesses. So they do have the blessing of the businesses in the community, and it's a 7-day event that truly brings this community together, and people can get their businesses blessed if they'd like to, just like the fishing fleet does. And
yeah, and they build that whole week up with a marketplace celebration. They even come to City Hall to meet with us, which is it's a great feeling, and we always appreciate that partnership. The Church of Destin, I believe, that does that, right?
Correct.
Another project that the city had last year, well, it's really ongoing, but last year kind of peaked a little bit because we had an event that we've never had before that I'll let you tell it, but our sports tourism is an initiative that the city has. Our recreation department does a really good job bringing in programs and that kind of thing. But a Little League tournament that we had this past summer, how impactful was that?
Well, it was actually a tremendous event, and it was one that I did not realize how many people would actually attend this Little League tournament. But over 2,000 people descended upon Morgan Sports Center and the city of Destin as well. They stayed in our hotels, they ate at the restaurants, they shopped at the grocery stores. This is a tremendous economic value to our community, and you're right, our recreational staff, they are amazing. They do it so well.
And this is something that we hope to perpetuate into the future because, you know, we have tournaments year-round, soccer tournaments, Little League football, baseball, and even had a basketball tournament this past December for the first time. But, you know, this event was kind of keystone what we think we're going to be able to do in Destin, and that's real, I guess you call big time Little League play, and those 2,000 plus people, you know, really showed that we've got what it takes to house that.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about some things like the farmers market downtown Destin on Main Street. I know you've been. It's a really nice place.
It is a wonderful opportunity for people to come and get fresh vegetables, fresh baked goods. They have the best focaccia bread, if you like focaccia bread. But they have lots of different vendors that come, woodworkers and people that sell honey. And they do a great job, and it's a great way for the community to not only gather, but for you to get a little grocery shopping done at the same time.
Yeah, and you know that's an initiative from our CRAs, and that's something that our community redevelopment areas that Steve Schmidt and Hank Willard and I talked about on the show last, and we really set the stage for what a CRA is. But that's something that happened last year that we've finally been able to bring some things into the CRAs to add some life there. The Destin Boardwalk, which was not completed last year, but has really brought a whole lot of life to the area, and in our CRAs. Those are building up thanks to your vision and the council's vision and the staff's hard work to make those things possible. Let's talk about we'll stay in the CRAs, the Marler parking lot. Big deal. Years ago, the city purchased some property to add some parking in the CRA Harbor District, and well, you guys cut a ribbon on it.
Well, you know, we do a citizen survey every other year, and one of the things that was one of our priorities from that survey was the fact that people wanted additional parking in the harbor area. So we were able to purchase land several years ago and reserve that land to build a parking lot. There were a lot of different ideas passed around about a parking garage, but we ended up initially doing a paved parking lot with area for pull-off for some transportation. Bus transportation or trolley, whatever it may be, and we actually cut the ribbon on it, and not a lot of people are using it right now, but you've always heard the term, if you build it, they will come.
And we know they're coming because we see them in the summertime, so we think that this parking lot will grow as people know that it's there, and the city, along with hopefully the TDC, can market that a little bit better and get people to know that there's a place to park, walk across the street, and be on our boardwalk within a minute, and then it's all wide open from there.
Yep.
You mentioned the citizen survey. Something we did last year for the first time was a business survey. We targeted our businesses in the city limits and asked them some questions about how we did business with them and what they thought our customer service was like, things that we did well and not so well, how could we do things better. And that initiative, of course, you know, with the city council, we were able to bring some good stuff back to you guys.
Well, you know, economic development has been something that's been tossed around for years and something that we certainly want to promote. But one way we need to do it is make sure our foundation is in order. Make sure our permit processes are good. Make sure that we are doing all the right things. We need to know our strengths and our weaknesses. One of the things that came back, and I was very, very pleased about this, is about 92% of the businesses felt that the business survey, they felt that they had a great relationship with the city. That's pretty darn remarkable.
Yeah, you know, and staff felt really good about that too, to know that you know, overwhelmingly businesses appreciate what we're doing. It's not always easy to serve the public because the public is so diverse. Nobody knows that better than you do. And of course the staff lives that every day, and to try to make everybody happy is really impossible, but we found a pretty good way to hone in and make things good for everybody as best as possible.
Right.
The East Pass Inlet Management Plan is something that we kind of firmed up this past year in 2013. Tell us why that's important and what that does.
Well, this was a partnership that we had with the Department of Environmental Protection, and we needed to have a plan to make sure that there were a lot of things for our environment that were being followed properly. One of the major things that the Inlet Management Plan does is assure that when we dredge our East Pass, that sand can be utilized wherever it is necessary. Our sand is one of the most valuable assets that we have as a city, and that sand, that high quality sand, is not everywhere in the United States or beyond. So we need to cherish that sand and make sure we're using it properly. This only made really good sense to make sure that that sand, when dredged, is placed appropriately where it is needed. And it's needed all over Okaloosa County. So this was a really good thing that came back for us this year.
That's you're right. That the sand is unique. It's unlike any place in the world. All the magazines and all the travel people tell you that every day all over the world. They'll say Destin's got quality sand, and Okaloosa Island as well. This county is just blessed. The whole Emerald Coast, if you will, is blessed with that. Let's keep with the sand idea a little bit and look at maybe some big ticket items for 2014, and sand on Noriega Point, maybe. That's a big deal. And our public hasn't heard from you yet on this show what is happening with Noriega Point right now.
Well, for one, I do want to mention one thing. This year, Destin got voted by Travel Channel as the #1 beach destination for families.
That's exactly right. Good point.
We were very, very excited about that, and the #1 reason, of course, is because of the quality of our beaches and our sand. So we're really excited about that. Noriega Point is a whole different issue. 4 years since Hurricane Opal, and I don't want to go to too much detail, but since 1995 when we had Opal, that point has been deteriorating. We have spent thousands upon thousands of dollars trying to make sure that point was stabilized. And we've had a lot of problems with it. We also, in cooperation with the same problem, have a problem with making sure that there is access for our charter boats to come in and out of the mouth of the harbor. In June, we had to dredge about 10,000 cubic yards of sand just to make sure that that mouth of the harbor was open.
And that was an emergency dredge,
and
too.
It was an emergency. We had to declare an emergency. So it's vital that we stabilize that point. And we have the plans in place. Our staff has been working diligently to come up with some concrete plans to make sure that not only do we stabilize the point, but we revitalize the point. We're going to add about 8 acres worth of property out there. There is going to be some nice rock and other forms to secure the point, and we also have to make sure that there's quality beaches out there, not only for our locals, but for our visitors alike. We got some tremendous news this year. We had applied for NRDA funding, Natural Resource Damage Assessment funding, which is part of the BP fine money. And we received word just recently here that we did achieve that grant. And so we will be getting $10.2 million to restore that point and protect the upland structures. We're very excited about it. It's a very competitive grant process. There are at least 19 other applications that were filled out from the county alone, not to mention all the other places within the state of Florida. So we are so excited about that, and we are going to embark upon that this year.
Right, we're looking to get started very soon.
Yes.
And you mentioned that recreation will be added, and for everybody, more beach access and things of that nature. But something you mentioned at the beginning of that was that what the importance of Noriega Point, and that is the entrance to our harbor. It protects our fishing fleet, which is really the lifeblood of our town, and which is where this town came from. And it's important to make sure that those businesses and that boardwalk that we just put in there stays intact.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, your work on that project has just been phenomenal. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
More than you know. We have a just a minute to mention the Captain Royal Melvin Heritage Park. That's a big deal, been going on for a long time, and now that you're kind of getting out of here, you're going to be able to see some things happen, or at least push through.
Right. The City Council have approved the plans already and the design, so we look forward to that starting in 2014.
And we have a couple of renderings we'll show right now that really show how beautiful that thing can be, and we're hoping that moves forward pretty quickly, because it's just going to be that really, they call it the gateway to the harbor.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That is the gateway to our harbor, and it'll be a place for the public to be able to recreate.
Good. Well, we are having to say goodbye to you this year because your term is up and you decided not to run for mayor. We all appreciate what you've done and respect your decision. Hate to see you go. We know that Mel Ponder will do a good job, but you've been on council for 8 years, mayor for 4. That's 12 years of service to the city of Destin. Countless years before that, I think, in committees, and just the time you spend is incredible. Don't know how you do it. For those who don't know, the mayor's job and the council's job, completely unpaid. It's total volunteer work, and most people don't know that and don't understand that, but what Sam has done and the counselors do on a daily basis is just above and beyond anything we could ask. So we really appreciate that. Wanted to kind of give you an opportunity to talk about your tenure as mayor and your time on council, and tell our viewers what you think. Well,
don't really have time for all of it, but I can tell you there's been highs and there's been very few lows. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve the city of Destin. I think if I was going to recommend that to anyone, I would tell everyone, you need to do this at least one point in your life and serve your community. There's, you're right, we don't get paid, but guess what? There are so many assets that we collect along the way. When you're driving down the road and you're driving down Legion Road and you see that beautiful improvement that we've done, you get to celebrate that and know that you had something to do with it. And that's payment enough. Mountain Drive, some of the wonderful accomplishments that we've had is just tremendous. One of the things I do want to mention, and it's very near and dear to my heart, is our city staff. They are amazing. And a little interesting note that I didn't think about it until earlier today is that when I came into office back in 2002, 90% of the staff are still there. That says a lot about the organization, about the city, and it really gives you a strong foundation for which to stand on when you are going through the tough times. But there's been too many amazing times.
Well, and the leadership that you've given is also, I think, a reason why you see the staff stick around like that. And we just again want a sincere thank you from the city of Destin, from the staff, I know from the residents as well. We appreciate your time. It's admirable what you've done, and we thank you.
Thank you.
We'd also like to encourage anybody who is interested, you can see this show on our YouTube channel anytime. You can also see the mayor live and in person at the State of the City address on February the 25th. At 5:30 at the City Hall Annex. And again, we just want to thank Mayor Sam Seevers for all her dedication to the city of Destin. You stay tuned for Ted Corcoran and the City of Fort Walton Beach next.